Welcome to Beacon of Speech. I'm Fred Hunt. Across the table from me is Ted Coley. Hello, Ted Coley.
Hey, Fred, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing spec-frickin-tacular. This is a special edition, the Vladimir Putin edition of Beacon of Speech. Now, Ted Coley, let me ask you a question. Beacon of Speech, we're all about free speech, except for ISIS and other horrible people. Vladimir Putin, did you know that he was a free speech crusader? I found this out yesterday. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Do you know why he's a free speech crusader?
Well, should I have known that?
Oh, no. It's what we were talking about earlier before the show about the let me start from the beginning. This week is the Democratic National Convention. Is that correct? And it's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Is correct, yes.
And it is just semantics to coronate Hillary Clinton, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hillary Clinton is not your candidate. Is that correct, Ted Coley?
That is correct.
And I give you subtle verbal jabs that you are doing Trump. But, and I'm going to say this very clearly and concisely, after the events of the week, I can see why you are voting for Donald Trump. Again, it goes back to...
And by the way, Donald Trump has still not appeared on our show.
No, he has not. He did not want anything to do with the rough questioning of Ted Coley.
I'm beginning to think he's avoiding us.
You know what? Maybe he is avoiding us. Maybe he doesn't like my tinny voice. But the more and more I hear and see about Hillary Clinton, the more I'm convinced she's just an out-and-out criminal.
I think yesterday they were chanting, "Lock her up."
Yeah, lock her up.
At the convention.
Yeah, they weren't... and Ted, you just made the perfect point. They weren't chanting "lock her up" at the Republican convention. They were chanting "lock her up" at the Democratic convention. And that's why this is so stunning.
Well, in all fairness, they did chant that at the Republican convention too, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
And didn't Trump say, "No, let's not start that"?
Yeah, let's put a lid on that. We'll let them do that at their own convention. But yes.
Donald Trump, the voice of reason.
Yeah, well, and that's the whole thing. Donald Trump, the voice of reason. That's all you need to hear. But so Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a whole bunch of, I think they said 10,000, and maybe I'm wrong about the number, 10,000 emails came out from the Democratic National Committee basically saying that they slanted the whole primary process away from Bernie Sanders and towards Hillary Clinton. Okay? Now, I can understand why they would do stuff like that to Republicans because that's their job. But they slanted it against their own guy. Right? They're not supposed to have an interest in which one of the Democrats win, are they?
Like what you ever hear what Rush Limbaugh calls her?
What's that?
Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz. And now he's calling her Debbie BS for short.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing, Ted. She's supposed to have a lid on it. Now, this is why... So, all these emails come out that prove that they slanted... she resigned. She said, okay, I'm not the head of the National Committee anymore. I'm not going to pound the gavel. I'm going to step away. She resigned from the whole leadership position when this broke. Within 2 days.
And she's been the head of that for a while, hasn't she?
At least 8 years. President Obama said he thanked her for having her back all those years. Or having his back all those years. Excuse me, I need some water.
So she was what Rance Priebus is to the Republicans?
I believe
that's
so.
What his job is. I don't know how to pronounce his first name.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody does, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He has the same job
for
the Republicans.
And it's supposed to be, may the best man win. Now, you can, again, it's politics, so there's certain little dirty tricks. And did Debbie Wasserman Schultz, did she break the law? Probably not. Because one of my friends said last night, they're like, well, she didn't do anything that could send her to jail.
Well, what did she do exactly?
Basically, they wanted to move all their resources towards Hillary. And all the staffers are like, well, screw Bernie, we're not going to help him. Well, because you're the Democratic Party and you have Democratic people running, you're supposed to help them, right? And basically, they took the election table and they slanted it, they turned it sideways in favor of Hillary, right? Well, you can do that in any walk of life. Oh, you slant it so one guy wins and one guy loses. Well, was Hillary probably going to win anyhow? Probably. But it's like all those cartoons when you were a kid. Oh, I'm going to win, but I'm going to cheat so the other guy can't, for sure can't win. What was it, the old Bugs Bunny cartoons where the hare was still, throwing pranks at the tortoise? So she slanted the table. She got caught. She resigned. And then today or yesterday, I read that the whole reason that the 10,000 emails leaked out was because of Vladimir Putin. Supposedly Vladimir Putin broke into the American server command, and then leaked all these emails so his friend Donald Trump could win. Okay?
Now, was this one of Hillary's servers?
Well, Ted, that's where I'm going. You know how many things are wrong with this?
Yeah, there's a lot wrong with this.
Number one, they cheated, right? And instead of saying, yeah, we cheated, they're like, Vladimir Putin shouldn't be in our elections.
It's like one of those things where, where they have a picture and how many things can you find wrong in this picture?
Yes. And it seems like the downward spiral. Because let's just say Putin did do it. I don't think he did. But let's say hypothetically he did do it. Okay? So he exposed emails the way the Americans rigged the election. Okay? Now, again, I'm not saying true or false. I'm just saying hypothetically.
What I'm saying, I assume this wasn't Hillary's server.
No, it wasn't.
It was probably a government server,
It was
right?
a government server.
That should be secure. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they were so worried about, Hillary putting all that information on her server, worrying about, how easy it would be hacked. It's like, apparently that doesn't make any difference because Putin can hack a government server. It's like they can hack anything.
Right.
Which, once again, still doesn't make what Hillary did right as far as putting all that on her private server.
Right. But it makes it easier for them to hack. And that's the whole thing. Instead of being mad that they were cheating, they were mad. They're like, Putin shouldn't be involved. America is the one who are always like, oh, those Russian elections are rigged. Now people do it to us, and we're like, hey, stay out of our business. Screw you guys. Again, they want to shoot the messenger. What happened to, oh, well, you know what? You caught us, and here's the ramifications.
Russia has got to be having the time of their life with this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have got to be, laughing their asses off.
Yeah. And this is not the first time that Russia has helped people who are leaking stuff. But the whole premise is, if we weren't doing it, there'd be nothing to steal.
Yeah.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz and all of her aides, maybe they shouldn't have been slandering their own candidate. No, Putin needs to stay out of our elections. That's none of Putin's business.
Yeah, Putin's the problem.
Yeah, he didn't make all this stuff up. And we are supposed to be the country of transparency. Russia is supposed to be the country with secrets. We're supposed to be the country where, it's the thin veil where we can see and have access to our elected officials. And then again, the Democrats
I said, I think Russia just did this for fun.
Yes, I agree. But, and this is the whole thing. Vladimir Putin is sitting in his throne. He's sitting on his big red throne like a king. Oh, great. The phone's ringing. Putin is sitting on his throne like a king, right? I'm sorry, I'm distracted. You can hear the phone in the background. And he's like, I I got the emails.
Now, when the message, well,
See, this is great radio right here. It's probably my wife. Oh, it's my mom. Okay, we can ignore them. I'll call them back after the show.
your mom has a question for you.
Yeah, she has a question for me.
What was it?
I'll call her back, and then it'll be a mystery question. So anyhow, the point is...
Did she say what the question was on the machine or no?
No. So now the whole point is thrown off. It just had horrible radio. It just siphoned right down the tube. Putin sitting on his throne, he is the beacon of speech. We Americans, we're hiding everything, and he's the one who can stand up and say, I am the beacon of speech. I am the one who brought these emails to the masses. I am the one who is giving freedom to the world, showing what those shady Americans are doing. And he's not that far off. He's just laughing his ass off. Because, you know why? Because we didn't keep our own crap clean. And I don't think he did it. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think he did it so Trump's elected. I think he did it to poke his finger in the eye of the Americans and say, you guys get in everyone else's business. How do you like it when people get in your business? How do you like it when people show off your dirty laundry?
Yeah.
And we all know he's not. We all know that he's not the, bastion of freedom. Ask Pussy Riot how much Putin enjoys freedom of speech.
Who's that?
Oh, they're a punk band. They say how much they hate Putin, but they're a horrible punk band. I wouldn't listen to them. I know who they are, but their music's horrible. Ted is mulling over that
No,
we got thrown off by a landline.
No, I'm just staring at the ducks.
Yes, the magical duck. Yeah, we started going to Putin, and the ducks are out in the fresh water. They're splashing around. I drained almost all their water because I literally had 1 million mosquitoes because they kept shitting in the pond and they clogged up, crapping in the pond, and they clogged up the filter, right? So the ducks are just doing a number on the whole backyard. I spend half my time taking care of the ducks. And I don't even get to eat them. We'll probably be on there and so the dog will run and attack the ducks like last time. So anyhow, since I talked to you last time, Turkey, there was a military coup. And this also has to do with Russia. Okay? Now, there are a lot of funny things about the military coup.
This happened before the last show, didn't it?
I think it happened like the same day as the last show. I think I wrote it down as the last thing to do for the next show, and then we can get to it. So, number one, Turkey cannot fall, okay? Because Turkey is one of the few democracies in the Muslim world that you want to keep around, okay? And when I say democracy, I got air quotes, okay? They're one of the closest things to a democracy out there, all right? And since they're part of Europe, it's good to reinforce democracies in Europe, even if it's not a perfect democracy. You see what I'm saying? Now, here is where the coup made me laugh, okay?
Now it's a democracy right now?
Yes.
And the military was trying to overthrow the democracy?
The military was trying to overthrow the democracy.
And put in what?
Islamic State.
Okay.
Now, the Turkey democracy today is not true democracy, but like I said, it's the closest thing to democracy in the Middle East. Okay? So there is a cleric, and I didn't know any of this before the coup, right? The cleric was saying there should be...
No, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
You said and put in, did you say an Islamic State?
Yeah, an Islamic State.
Okay, it's an Islamic State. It's not ISIS.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, it's something different, but they're like cousins.
Yeah.
Okay? Oh, we don't want to be radical like ISIS. We want our own Islamic State that would be a pair. Oh, okay, that'll might be much better. Okay? So the cleric who advised this, where does he live?
Iran?
He lives in... drum roll please, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So now, here's the thick of it. Okay? And this is where I feel bad, and this is where the speech comes back into play. Okay? Now, you're a poor soldier, and you work for the Turkish army. You are 21 years old, right? And you are told, we're going to do some exercises by Istanbul. We're going to do some exercises. We're going to do, in case there's a terrorist attack, we're going to go do some exercises on that bridge, right? Well, you're a 21-year-old guy in Turkey and say, okay, right? What happened is that some of the generals, they were in on the coup, right? They told some of their corporals or lieutenants they were in on the coup. All the soldiers were not in on the coup, right? So you're a soldier, you're marching on the bridge on Istanbul, thinking you're doing exercise. All of a sudden, you hear you're part of the coup trying to overthrow the Turkish government. And you're like, oh, crap! The citizens come out, they attack you, right? They were pulling out the army out of their tanks and beating them up in the streets because they didn't know what the hell to do. They're like, we're not part of the coup. Right? So now there's literally 10,000 soldiers who didn't even know there was a coup going on. They're like, please don't kill us, and they're torturing them and raping them. I was just reading about it today. Right? All these poor guys, 21-year-olds who didn't know anything. The president of Turkey, he called Obama, and he said, listen, I want that cleric from Pennsylvania. He tried to stage a coup. Right? And Obama's like, well, you got to charge him. And the cleric from Pennsylvania is like, I didn't cause a coup. I'm just here in Pennsylvania hanging out. I'm reading the Koran and singing hymns, right?
Obama said you got to charge him.
You got to charge him. You can't extradite a guy on no crime. You see what I'm saying? The Turkish government has to charge the cleric in Pennsylvania with the crime. Like, say Turkey said, Ted Coley, you and your...
So if the Turkish government would have charged that guy, then Obama would extradite him?
Correct.
Have they charged him?
No. Because there is no trail. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody in leadership, they cover CYA.
What do you mean, there's no proof that he...
Yeah. So Obama said, well, extradite him as soon as you bring charges. And they're like, well, we know he did it. Okay, well, you can't do it. It's like saying Turkey tried to have a coup because Ted Coley was talking on Beacon of Speech one day, and he incited it. Well, Obama might send you over.
Yeah, I'm sure I would be extradited.
But the cleric from Pennsylvania, they want charges before they send them over, right? And... so we are not deporting them, but now all of a sudden you got another Iran, where we got the Shah of Iran, and then they're taking the embassy. You see what I'm saying? And so in Turkey, they have all these people. They want to install the death penalty and kill all these soldiers, right? All these soldiers, all these generals, everybody involved in the coup. And almost everybody in the coup is like, we didn't know we were in a coup.
Do you believe that?
Let me put it this way. The 19-year-old private driving the tank, I believe that, okay? The 21-year-old guy who's marching with his gun and didn't shoot anybody, like, there's video of citizens running up and beating up soldiers, and they're not firing into the crowd. You know what I mean? They're just like, oh, please stop beating me. Why are you beating me? I'm a soldier. You see what I'm saying? Well, why are you beating me? We're supposed to be doing exercises. Now, I'm sure...
Well, why didn't these generals and all these guys run it by these soldiers first?
Well, because, and again, it's the whole thing of, if we tell them, what if they defect, right? Or what if they tell the president that we're going to do a coup, and then they have us arrested before we can do the coup? So you don't know how high or how low the coup goes. You see what I'm saying? But the president of Turkey is like...
Is this standard operating procedure for coups?
No.
I mean...
No. No, it's not. That's
Well, what
why-
I'm saying is normally don't they tell, like, hey, the rest of the army, hey, this is what you're going to do?
Yes, usually, and most coups, rule of thumb, they're in Africa, right? And the army, when they don't have a 20,000 person coup. You see what I'm saying? It's a small army, small loyalists. They take the president, knock him out, and then yell at the army, now we're in charge. And then they're like, okay. There was a lot of tens of thousands of people in the army who were like, I didn't know. Which is feasible because the few people who knew thought they could take out the president, right? Now we're like talking a game of Risk, right? They thought they could take out the president and then tell the rest of the army, well, you're already here, we're in charge, lock everything down.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But the president doesn't want to hear from any of them. They're like, oh no, as far as I'm concerned, you're all in the coup.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel so horrible. And that's why some of these democracies with air
Now,
quotes-
what's that president's name? I've heard it.
Oh, I forget what it was. Aradon.
Now, do you know, is he a Muslim?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think he is a moderate.
Yeah.
And they tried to get him out from the right. Well, after the coup happened, Russia's like, hey, listen, you got a lot of right-wing forces that want to, install the Islamic State, and I shouldn't say the Islamic State, and Islamic State in your country. We should be friends. You could lock down Turkey. Now, all of a sudden, he's like, well, Russia is my friend, right? And America is my enemy because the guy who instigated the coup is holed up in America. So again, Vladimir Putin is the good guy. You see what I'm saying? Vladimir Putin is supporting democracy. Technically, we are harboring the guy who wants to bring in an Islamic State into Turkey. The last thing you want is an Islamic State in Turkey. Would you say that's probably true?
Oh, yeah.
Because Turkey is the gateway to Europe. Before you get to Greece, before you get to Italy, when you're coming from the Middle East, you got to go right through Turkey. Last thing you want is the Islamic State to get a foothold in Turkey. And again, are the Americans on the right side or wrong side? We're on the wrong side. Putin is standing up there with a big smile on his face going, I'm Turkey's buddy. Me and Turkey, we've been friends for... And then he looks at his watch and he's like, for 4 days now. I think it was speaking of Speech 12. They were ready to go to war. Remember that?
Oh,
Because-
Russia and Turkey because of a plane.
Yeah, because on the Turkish-Syrian border, the Russians kept flying over Turkey. And Turkey said, don't fly over our airspace. So now all of a sudden Turkey's like, no, hey, we apologize and we're buddies. We're friends now.
What happened? Did Turkey shoot one of their planes down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was in Turkish airspace.
And that was when Russia first started hitting targets in Syria
Right.
to
And then
to fight ISIS.
Right.
Or some people have said they weren't actually hitting ISIS. They were hitting
That's
the rebels that we supported.
And that's what America said. They said, oh, no, they're not attacking ISIS. They're attacking the American-backed rebels. Exactly what you said. You're exactly right. But...
Well, there's no way to know if that's true. Do you know if that's true?
No,
or?
because I remember I read an article, must have been about 10 years ago, and it was an American general. And they said, what was the hardest problem you ever had to face? He said, Afghanistan. He said, well, why Afghanistan? And they said, I had heard from the Russians, again, the Russians are on the right side when we're supposed to be on the right side, right? The Russians said,
Russia's like involved in everything.
well, but that's the whole point, is that we're supposed to be led by Obama, right? And he's supposed to be the guy who's on the right side of everything. You know what I'm saying? But anyhow, I don't want to bash on Obama. He said in Afghanistan, one of the hardest things to do is these tribes, they would wear one uniform one day and the next day trade uniforms. the other guy gave me 4 shekels to change teams, right? So now I'm in a different army, right? And so they said they literally would just trade uniforms. You could never track anybody down. And he said Afghanistan was a mess. You never knew who was on what team, up from down, tribe from tribe. And he said it was a mess. And he didn't learn that from us. He learned that from the Russians. And it's the same thing going on now. You know, who's on which team? In Syria. Oh, no, that's the good Syrians. That's the bad Syrians. Well, those 2 are good Syrians. Well, no, technically there's 5 groups of Syrians. No wonder the good people of Syria want to get the heck out of that country.
Oh, man.
And again, and say
I can't imagine what that country's like.
Yeah, and then just say you're Ted Coley. You live in Syria. Me and you are doing Beacon of Speech. And they're like, Ted, you know, you work at your job, but we really need you in the army. You're like, oh, screw that. And you're like, oh, I could go to Iran, but I think that would probably be worse, right? Where else would you go? You'd go to Europe, right? You'd be like, I'd take my chances in Europe. Those people are not immigrating. You know, they're not going to Saudi Arabia. They know.
Now, a question I have for you is, you know how they blame Hillary for the Arab Spring,
right,
and destabilizing Libya,
right,
because they took out Gaddafi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we didn't take him out, but we provided air support to the rebels, blah blah blah.
Right.
Now, Syria, we didn't do anything there, did we? I mean, because we didn't take out Assad because he's still in power.
Right.
But did we do anything to destabilize Syria, or did that just happen?
My understanding is...
Or did that happen because of all the other countries around it that are destabilized? Or
well,
what happened?
Supposedly, and again, I don't know this for a fact, okay, because I'm...
You know what I'm asking, yeah. Right?
Supposedly, when Iraq was destabilized and it broke into parts, ISIS gained a foothold in northern Iraq.
Yeah.
Right? And then it spread to Syria. Now, the problem is that Saddam Hussein was an a-hole, right? He ruled with an iron fist. Well, now we know the reason he ruled with an iron fist is because of the maniacs.
Yeah.
Right? So we destabilized Iraq. A lot of people are like, oh, well, George Bush. Well, okay, so George Bush is gone. What did Obama do to restabilize Iraq? Well, we got out of there. Okay, so some people argue it was George Bush who destabilized it, and some people argue it was Obama that destabilized it. You see what I'm saying?
Now, like years ago, when you would see pictures of people being tortured in Iraq,
right,
like before we went in there,
right,
you know, when Saddam was still in charge, I assume the kind of people that he was torturing were probably people like ISIS.
Yes.
When he saw any of those maniacs trying to get a foothold, he would kill them, torture them.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's probably mainly the people that he would.
They said that he was brutal to the Kurds, and the Kurds are not the people who are in ISIS.
Yeah,
right?
they're northern.
Yeah.
Iraq.
But now we're getting into Turkey, and again, now we're just spinning, okay? Turkey doesn't want, I guess the Kurds of northern Iraq want a Kurdistan. Yeah. They want their own country. They want their own country too. There's a bunch of Kurds in eastern Turkey that want a Kurdistan too. So Kurdistan would be northern Iraq and eastern Turkey. And Turkey and Iraq is like, no Kurdistan. No new country. So between that arguing and then the people in ISIS, and then again Assad, I saw an interview with Assad on 60 Minutes, right? He looked like he was younger than us. He looked like he was in his 30s. So for many, many years, whoever Assad's father ran Syria like Saddam Hussein did. And then his son takes over, and then all of a sudden, oh no, that guy's horrible. The son tried to be brutal. He's like, I'm brutal like my dad. I'm gonna crack your heads, and they all laughed at him. And next thing you know, that splintered. You see what I'm saying? Just like in northern Iraq. So now Syria is splintering because Assad was trying to assert his power as the son, right? And so that destabilized Syria. So I don't know whether Syria destabilized because of northern Iraq or if it destabilized because of Assad. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, it's, well, which came first, the chicken and the egg? And then me and you argue for an hour. Oh, the chicken came first, and you go, no, the egg came first. It goes for grinding your gears. It doesn't really get you anywhere.
I think because what I'm saying is that as much as I would like to blame Hillary for Syria, I don't think
I
there's
can't
much
blame
proof
her for that. No,
of
I
her.
can't blame her.
Now, you could blame her for Libya.
Yes. So let's go on the record.
And maybe Egypt too?
No, I don't blame her. I saw a cartoon on Facebook. It was the funniest.
Well, so mainly just Libya was her.
Yeah. Libya was her fault. Egypt, no. Syria, no. I can't.
So she only messed up one country. Then?
She only messed up one other country, and she
One
wasn't
other,
secretary.
One other country in
She wasn't-
addition to ours? Or?
At the time, she wasn't Secretary of State for long. So at that point, so you should get like a mulligan for one screwing up one other country, right? So, but I read a cartoon on Facebook, right? And it said Egypt, right? And it said really good at revolution, and it had a picture of the Arab Spring, and then underneath there was a bunch of writing, and it said really bad at actually running the country, right? Well, if you're always revolting against something, nothing ever gets done. You know, people aren't going to have a job if their whole job is rioting and tearing down the government.
Yeah, that's the problem with taking these strong men out.
Yeah.
The problem isn't taking them out; it's what comes after.
Yeah. And again, I remember when George Bush was in charge, and George Bush was like, "Well, we'll just take out Saddam and put in democracy." You know, like, oh, that's all you do.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, George Bush is an idiot. You cannot take out Saddam and then just assume that democracy grows. But again, you could say George Bush destabilized, or you can turn around and say no, Obama. But what's really true is probably somewhere in the middle, because the Obama people are all like, oh, no, George Bush did it. All the George Bush people are like, oh, no, we left it in good hands, and then Obama destabilized it. You never know what the real truth is, because we're not in Syria. If we were doing beacon of speech, or in Iraq, I'm sorry. If we were doing beacon of speech in Iraq, you know, we'd probably be like, oh, no. we would probably be saying, you know, screw George Bush, screw Obama, screw them both. This is our country. Why can't we get this together? Why can't we sort this out? You know,
I just remember, and I can't do the voice, but I just remember, like, on Howard Stern, like, whenever Artie would do, like, a Middle East accent,
right,
it would always be Indian, no matter.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It could be India, Iraq, it's the same voice.
That's why I was starting to do the Artie Lang impression, and I aborted. I'm like, I can't do it. Artie Lang is too awesome. And like I said, I don't have good practice. I need to
because
do
he
more
would
than once a week.
one time he was imitating Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
And it was an Indian accent.
I know. Artie Lang was awesome. I mean, I know everybody says that Howard's. I
know I'm bringing up a lot of like radio guys, and I hope that doesn't.
Oh no, that's fine. Because we love radio. Mm-hmm. If we didn't love radio, we wouldn't be doing this. But Artie, I remember listening to Howard Stern when Jackie was on. And I would listen, and I'm like, I don't understand how Howard Stern's so popular. I said, Howard Stern is funny, and I like Fred, but that Jackie is annoying, right? And that Robin Quivers, I can't listen to her, right? So I never got it. And then when Artie Lang went to Howard Stern and I was working at Iron Mountain, I'm like, this is the funniest radio show I've ever heard in my life. And then I'll go back and listen to like classic Howard Stern, and I'm like, no, it got better. It got better when Artie was there. And then after he left, it was kind of, back to cruise control.
Well, one of the funniest things, I don't know if you remember, but when Jackie was there, remember when they would be doing the news and they would bring up like something horrible that happened and they would play Jackie's laugh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and don't get me wrong.
And that was Fred. It obviously, wasn't.
Don't get me wrong. Howard Stern, you can't say enough good things about him. We redefined everything, king of all media, blah, blah, blah. It's just, what really two things rubbed me the wrong way, okay? Number one, when he left terrestrial radio, he did it for the cash.
Yep.
Okay? Then once he got when he got literally everything that he wanted, right? Instead of doing the best radio show you could do, he's like, I think I want to do America's Got Talent. Mm-hmm. It's like, that was your end game?
Yeah, and get paid full-time money for the radio and work part-time.
Yeah. And then the other thing that rubs me the wrong way, and Rizzo, the local guy, he does the same thing. I would listen to Howard Stern and he'd be like, my contract's up in a year. My contract's up in 6 months. My contract's up in 3 months. Yes, we know your contract. The only person who talks about their contract more than Tony Rizzo is Howard Stern. And I'm like, I'm glad. Why don't you work your contract and then when it's over, then you can. Well, I use it as leverage. Oh, go leverage something else. So those are two things that really bothered me about Howard Stern. Because when he went to America's Got Talent, it's like you got everything you wanted. Everything you wanted, you got. You technically all the fights you fought, you won.
Well, that's another thing. It seemed like when I first started listening to Howard Stern, it seemed like he was a rebel.
Yeah.
And then by the end, it seemed like he was just part of the establishment.
Right. But and I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to circle back around to Hillary, right? Hillary.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree. Because he didn't want to be the rebel anymore. He didn't want to be the bad guy. When he went on America's Got Talent, that was, I want America to love me. It's like, well, why do you need America to love you for? You know what I mean? Are you that insecure that you need validation from, people who don't care or don't matter?
Yeah, it's almost like the story of almost every politician.
Yeah.
They start out, I'm going to change things. They're a rebel.
Yeah.
Then they get there and they just turn into what they campaigned against.
Right. And that's why I was going to go with Hillary Clinton. She's like, me and Bill started, we did this, we did that. When the Clintons came, they were not the insiders. But once they got in the inside, they were all about working the system and playing the game. And if Hillary was here too, she'd be like, don't hate the player, hate the game. Okay, I got to talk about music because I don't want to beat politics into it. Too late, right? Are you familiar with the band Third Eye Blind?
Yes. I don't know a lot about them. But
can you name any of Third Eye Blind's hits?
I think I know one of their songs, but I don't know what it's called.
Okay, well, go ahead, give it a shot.
That song, I'm Not Listening When You Say Goodbye. Is that them?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. My book, American Suicide, written in 2011, right? I wrote about bands that the one guy hated because they were phonies, right? And they said, bands like blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember the bands that he used in the article, or in the book. And he was like...
Do you know any songs by Third Eye Blind?
I know like 3. Semi-Charmed Life.
That's what the song
Jumper. There's another one. But...
I think I know that song, too.
Yeah, if you heard them, you would know them.
Yeah.
I don't like Third Eye Blind, but in my book, the guy was complaining about fake bands like Third Eye Blind, right? That was 2011. So, this week, the Republican National... Or last week...
That's in your book, the guy was complaining about.
Yeah, about how much Third Eye Blind sucked.
A character that you made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was loosely based off of Martin. Martin knows that. So, that's all right. He better not sue me. So, But so Third Eye Blind, they were asked to play the Republican National Convention. Now, did you read this story?
No.
They wanted to entertain people all through the week. So all these people from around the world are coming to Cleveland. Granted, the communists rioted, but believe it or not, it was fairly quiet at the Republican National Convention, right? Third Eye Blind, they're in the festivities. They played at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Republican National Convention said, will you entertain our delegates? And they said, we would love to. Okay?
So, Third Eye Blind agreed to play at the Republican convention.
Not at the convention, but next door. While it was at the Q, they agreed to play at the Rock Hall and entertain delegates.
Okay.
But Third Eye Blind played the bait and switch. Okay? So all these delegates and their friends and family, they're at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to see Third Eye Blind, right? What does Third Eye Blind do? They are Democrats. They don't like the Republicans.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
What do they do?
I don't know.
So they play their first song. It's one of the songs nobody's ever heard of. Play the hits! Play the hits! Just play the song! Play the hit! Lead singer gets up, stands up, starts saying, you guys are a bunch of fascists, to the crowd. Break into another song nobody's ever heard of, right? Just play the hits, right? They're screaming, and they're starting to be rumbling, right? People are starting to tweet and text, hey, some Third Eye Blind's trying to do something stupid. Then they go, okay, we won't play one of our hits. We're going to play the hit Jumper. And you know what it's about? It's all about a guy who steps out to the ledge and he's going to kill himself because he's gay and he doesn't feel accepted. Just like you fascists in the crowd don't accept homosexuals. I'm all for equal rights, gay marriage, and let's go into the song. And they start playing the song, right? Song's over. Starts going, you know what? I don't think we should play for you guys. You guys are jerks. I don't care. And people are like shouting at them, and then they break into another song that's not one of their hits. They didn't play any of their hits except for the one song, right? And I guess they cut their playlist short. They said, screw you guys, see you in hell, whatever, right? Now, number one, this is what I have to say. The fans who went to see Third Eye Blind, they got what they deserved, okay? Because Third Eye Blind sucks. If they treated you like garbage, that's because you like them. That's your mistake for liking them. Okay? But bigger picture, now you're the lead singer of a band. Okay? Now, let's pretend, now you're voting for Trump. Okay? And this is where I wanted to ask you the question. You play the Democratic National Convention, but you want Trump to win. Would you have done what Third Eye Blind did? Like, would you show up in a Trump hat and say, make America great again?
Now, wait a minute. What's the scenario here?
You're at the Democratic National Convention. Wasted space.
Right.
You're playing to a bunch of delegates from all across the nation. Democrats. But you want Trump to win. Would you wear your Make America Great hat?
No, I don't think I would agree to play there if I'm supporting Trump. I don't think I could do that.
So you're saying that if they were that much against the Republicans being there, they shouldn't have accepted an invite from the Republican Party. Yeah. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
You would not accept and then go the delegates.
Yeah.
Well, you're a good man. See, Ted, this is why, just like in the article, this is why you didn't get anywhere. You got to have the rock and roll attitude, the Third Eye Blind. Mm-hmm. You should have accepted and then wore the Make America Great Again, right? And then you're like, I'm just going to play cover songs. I'm going to play cover songs of Yes.
You know what would probably happen if I did what they did?
What's that?
I'd probably get my ass kicked.
They'd be jumping on stage and beating on you. Well, that's the thing. And I guess they asked Third Eye Blind after the fact, well, did you feel bad because that was supposed to raise money, for charity? And they said, no, we stand by what we did. We don't feel bad at all. And again, it goes back to the rock and roll attitude. That's what you needed in Wasted Space. You needed to beat some people up. You needed to go into the hornet's nest and then take a stick and then poke the hornets. So I have to ask you, did Did you hear that story? I read all about it on Cleveland.com.
Nah, I never heard that.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
And again, what's the band that everybody makes fun of? If you like them, you're lame. What was it, Nickelback? Isn't that the band everybody makes fun
probably.
of? Nickelback? Every generation has it. When we were kids, and when you were listening to Led Zeppelin, didn't you make fun of kids who were listening to, like, Journey?
Yeah.
And I remember when I was listening to Anthrax and Metallica, we'd watch Beavis and Butthead, and then we would make fun of Winger, because Stewart wore the Winger shirt, right? To me, this generation should be making fun of Third Eye Blind. That's why when Third Eye Blind, to me, they're worse than Nickelback. Okay? So when Third Eye Blind does this, I'm like, you're Third Eye Blind. People should be making fun of you. You should not be making fun of people.
Yeah, people should be heckling them.
Yeah, not vice versa. They should not be heckling the crowd. And Nickelback, I'll tell you what, I don't like Nickelback. They had like 12 hits, and I think I like one of their 12 songs, right? But they play along. I've seen Funny or Die skits where they play along. They got a good sense of humor about them. Their lead singer married Avril Lavigne. I would like to marry.
Really?
Yeah. I would have liked, so if I hate him, it's just because I'm jealous that he married her and I didn't. They seem like a good bunch of guys. I feel bad making fun of them. But man, Nickelback, that's bad. But they play along. They're not holier than thou. I'm going to start a petition. Make fun of Third Eye Blind. And to double back on what I was saying about Winger, that Kip Winger, I saw an interview with him, and he was very bitter that people made fun of him. He's like, I did not appreciate Stuart Winger wearing that Winger t-shirt.
That's funny.
So what's next on my list? Oh, me and you. We're talking about tourists. People coming from across the nation, coming to check out Cleveland. Now, do you think that the people who came from all around the world had a good or bad impression of Cleveland from what you heard? From watching the news, listening to radio.
I think they had a good impression.
I think they did too. I think after LeBron won that championship, it seemed like there's a new buzz in the air.
Yeah, I was just thinking last night. It's like Cleveland, like over the last month, has really been rocking, man.
Yeah. And so they seem to have a new attitude. Things seem to be turning around. I read that the Republican National Convention, when they came to town, the police were ready to arrest 1,000 people a day. They said, we're not going to let people screw up, Cleveland. We're not going to let them come screw it up. They were ready to arrest 1,000 people a day. They had judges on standby. They had holding. They were ready, right?
And do you think that's why there was very little trouble?
Yes.
Because of the heavy police presence?
Yes, because they said...
So if there wasn't a lot of police down there would have been problems.
I think there would have been, yes. But I think the heavy police presence, they were ready. Like, a lot of cities aren't ready. They said Philadelphia, they weren't expecting problems. They were expecting a nice, smooth convention. Cleveland's the one who's going to have problems. Now they're having trouble with the Bernie supporters in Philadelphia. But in Cleveland, they said, I think they only arrested 250 total in the whole week. So, which is not bad. And like I said, they were able to break it up. But the people who came, it was also nice and sunny that week. So people could walk to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They could walk to the Science Center. They could go to the casino. They could see the giant Cavs championship banners. It was nice weather, which we rarely get. And it seemed like a lot of people were like, Cleveland's nice. You know what I mean? They did a nice job. Now, with all that being said, how many of those people do you think are going to book return flights to Cleveland in their lives? Like the people from Delaware, do you think they're ever coming back to Cleveland?
No.
No.
No, I think that's it for them.
Now, I have a historical question. I don't see Cleveland ever becoming a tourist destination. That's the point of my story. Okay? Nobody's putting on their Hawaiian shirts and shorts and we're going to Cleveland. Now, we can make it nicer for conventions. We can make it nicer for family. Uncle Joe wants to come. So, oh, Cleveland's not bad. Are you familiar with the running of the bulls in Pamplona?
Yeah.
Pamplona, Spain.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Now, that used to be a little local festival in the 1930s. And then wasn't it Ernest Hemingway wrote a book about the running of the bulls?
Probably.
Now, I could be wrong. I could Google it, but I got the sound program going. I guess there's a whole bunch of articles that the running of the bulls is now too touristy. It's too much of a tourist attraction. They said there's more people there for the ambiance to say they went, and they said the locals say it's starting to get out of hand. Now, we're going to go back to where we started with the Clintons. The Clintons were the ultimate outsiders. They were backwater hicks from Arkansas. They played the game, and then they became insiders. Okay? Would you say Running of the Bulls might be one of the most recognizable festivals in the world, maybe top 10?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now they're saying it's too big. There's too many people standing in the streets. You can't really run with the bulls because the streets are packed with people. Right? And you can't go anywhere without bumping into it. Well, guess what? You can control that. Well, it's hard to turn down all the money that floods into the city. And when I read the article, Running of the Bulls was too touristy, what are they going to do? I'm like, well, that's like everything, right? If you don't control it and how big it is. Ted's shaking his head.
No, whenever you bring that up, Running of the Bulls, I always think of City Slickers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and that's the whole thing, Ted. And I know we've talked about Running of Bulls before. You said you would never do it.
No.
I would never do it, right? I'm still not, I understand the danger of it, but I'm still not sure how all these bulls got into Spain, okay? We're talking about old Europe. I would think that wild bulls are not that common in Spain anymore, right?
Yeah, because I know that I'd get hurt.
They said most of the injuries are not from, and again, one of your favorite shows right now is Walking Dead, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, in the first season, did you see the episode where Shane and that fat guy are running from the zombies?
Yeah.
And what did Shane do to the fat guy so he'd get away from the zombies?
Didn't he shoot him?
Yeah, he shot him, pushed him down, the zombies ate him, and Shane got away. Right? Basically, that's what's happening in Pamplona right now. They said that the streets are so packed, most of the injuries are, holy cow, I gotta get out of the way of that bull, and they knock somebody else over.
Yeah.
The guy who gets knocked over falls on the ground, he gets stepped on by a bull and breaks 4 ribs.
Yeah.
The bulls aren't the ones doing the damage. Again, it's the people.
Yeah.
But I'm like...
So the people are more likely to get trampled by people, probably.
Right. Well, that's the thing. The people, the mob mentality, again, you're cramming people into alleys and pushing a bull down. Well, back in the old days, in the 30s, when, and again, I assume it's Ernest Hemingway, but it could have been somebody else. When they wrote about the romanticism of running with the bulls, they didn't have 20,000 people. They had the locals and then people from a couple other neighboring things. Ernest Hemingway is like, I discovered something. Well, technically it was there, and you just brought it to the masses. I'm sorry, I'm trying to picture you in the white outfit with the red scarf. The red scarf around your waist, and, we're running. What do you think that our buddy Steve would do? You and Steve are standing in the alley, okay? And the bull's coming.
Steve would probably push me down.
I'm pretty sure he would be, too. I'm sure he would be doing that, too.
Steve would be Shane.
Yeah. Oh, see, you already segued into the next topic. Next topic, Ted Coley. Do you know who Qandeel Baloch is? Qandeel Baloch.
That was the name I was going to use as my radio name.
I could be mispronouncing it. Qandeel Baloch She was the Pakistani Kim Kardashian. You're shaking your head.
No, I thought you were going to say she was the girl who got shot in the head.
No. I see all this happiness in the news.
Yeah. It's nonstop. She's the Pakistani Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, I guess she lived in Pakistan, and she went to Instagram, and then she would post pictures, like, in a T-shirt. And
isn't that frowned upon in Pakistan?
Yes, in Pakistan that's very frowned upon. But, like, I'm looking at these pictures of this girl, and I'm like, yeah, that's what people wear on the streets of America, right? And again, freedom of speech. Well, you can't wear a T-shirt. You're violating the trust between Allah and man, right?
So is she all right, or did she get beheaded?
No. Oh well, no. That's the thing of it. This is another question I got asked for Ted Coley. She was strangled by her brother because she shamed the family by taking to Instagram or Twitter, whichever social media platform it was.
Strangled and killed?
Yeah, strangled and killed his sister because she shamed the family by wearing basically normal Western clothes. Okay? Granted, they might have been tight-fitting jeans or tight-fitting T-shirts, right? Now, I'm going to ask you, Ted Coley, you live in Pakistan with the other Coley siblings when you were a kid. You have a sister, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you care anything about what your sister did where you would kill her?
No, that's unbelievable.
That's another level that I don't understand because I have two sisters. And nothing they did, I would want to kill them. Be like, oh, you shamed the family. If somebody did something to them, I would want to kill whoever did it to them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But you don't say, oh, my sister shamed me. And it goes back to all the problems in the Middle East. How can you change things that are inherent in the culture like that? You see what I'm saying? And we go back to Turkey, we go back to Iran, we go back to Iraq, we go back to Syria. How can you change things that are so ingrained over there? At some point, you have to say, you're on your own, leave us alone, right? We'll stay in America. The Europeans don't come to America, don't come to Europe, don't come to Australia. You guys, if you want to live like this, you live like this, and if you don't want to live like this, then you overthrow your own goddamn government.
So you're more or less on board with Trump's plan as far as not letting any Muslims in, right?
That is more or less correct.
Even though Trump said it's a temporary ban, and until we can figure out what's going on. Which is always kind of funny. Because that's very, very vague.
Right.
Until we can figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on as far as what? It's like,
In the history of America, America shuts its borders. They shut the borders, they open the borders. They shut the borders, they open the borders. Right?
yeah, because didn't they say, like, from the 20s until, like, the mid-60s, there was no immigration?
No immigration, right. And I remember reading stuff about, in the 1880s, the dirty Irish. You know, the Irish and their potato famine. That's not our problem, right? Well, what happens is the Irish comes and clog our cities. And they shoot up crime. Does any of that sound familiar? Yeah, that's 130 years ago. Those damn dirty Irish, right? The thing is, back in the 1880s, the Irish were not bombing American cities. Now, you could turn around and say, oh, well, the Muslims are not bombing American cities now.
Now, the Irish might have been getting bombed in American cities.
Yeah, well, yes, that is very true. So I don't see a problem, and this is the whole problem with the Obama administration.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. I like that. That was a good play on words. When they say we're not at war with ISIS, okay, we're not at war. whenever the conservatives say you have to say we're at war with radical Islam, and Obama won't say it, right? You're saying we're not at. If we're not at war with them, it's the whole reason why we won't send a cleric over, right? Well, you haven't charged them. Well, it's the same thing. If we're not at war with radical Islam, then there's no problem bringing immigrants in who are Islamic. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, Glenn Beck came out and he said that Christians are being persecuted in Iraq. And this is the way I frame it, okay? The ISIS is finding Christians, he's killing them, okay? And Obama's saying, well, no, that doesn't matter, okay? He's like, they're going to have to wait in line. America is supposed to help the persecuted. It's not supposed to help spread the seeds of radical Islam. That's why if you don't, again, if you want to be Islamic and come to America, that's fine, right? But you have to go through the process and make sure you're not one of the ISIS guys. If you're from Syria and you're Christian, you're to the head of the line because you are being persecuted in your nation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Trump is half right, but Obama's kind of half right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't say no Islam, right? That's not right. But until you can shake the tree out and see which one of these guys are ISIS sympathizers and which one of these guys just want to come to America because it was 129
Well, maybe that's what
degrees.
Trump means by until we figure out what's going on.
Well, yeah, but Trump doesn't mean that. Okay? But it's like...
I could just see him coming back after, a year or whatever. Okay, we figured out what's going on. So,
yeah.
we're going to let some people...
Yeah. But it goes back to, we can't not let Mexicans in. The whole thing is that people have to be able to police themselves, right? And America has always welcomed people from around the world.
That's the thing that drives me crazy about this argument, though, is that I think people like Trump are against illegal immigration,
Right.
like from Mexico. Because you got a lot of people coming over the border. You don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And that's, for 50 years we've had immigration every year.
Yeah.
We let, about 1 million people in or something like that?
Yep.
And nobody's talking about stopping that. They're talking about stopping illegal immigration or people coming in where you don't know anything about them.
Right. And they're like,
when Trump says Mexico is not sending us their best people, that's not the same as saying that every Mexican is a rapist.
Right.
He never said that.
Yeah.
He said they're sending us rapists.
Right.
And I hate that when people twist that like that.
But
that's all politics is twisting things.
Yes. Because you are not trying to, at some point, okay, and this I'm going to write down this name because I don't want to say it out loud, okay? This guy, okay? See that guy's name right there?
Yeah.
Once you're in a position of power, it is not about doing what's best for the branch or the city or the state. A lot of the politicians, when they're in charge, it's all about their interests, how they make money, running things there. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why there should be term limits for everything. You know what I mean? Gary Starr in Millburg Heights. He's been mayor of Millburg Heights for 36 years. Does that sound right?
Oh, wow. I have no idea.
As far as I know, he was a good mayor, right? But if you're a public servant, maybe there should be a cap on what you do, no matter what level. We're supposed to be America. We're supposed to be transparent. We're supposed to be the democracy that people look up to. If we minded our own P's and Q's, Russia wouldn't be poking us in the eye. China wouldn't be poking us in the eye. When we're busy trying to expose everything going on in Russia and China, but they turn around and expose things that are going on in America. And my whole thing with the Muslim thing is they're coming to America to blow up Americans. Now, not all Muslims are,
Yeah.
right? But
how do we know the difference?
right, how do you know the difference? You have to have a process. Now, you're saying that's not fair, okay? Now, I'm going to turn that around on you, Ted.
What's not fair?
That there's a process to bring in immigrants from across the world, right? Ted, when you want a driver's license, what do you have to do?
Well, I have to take a test. I have,
You want to vote. What do you have to do? Well, you got to register to vote. You have to. Ted, you want to buy a house. Well, what we need you to do is go ahead and sign these.
There's a process for everything else.
Yeah. There's a process for everything else. America is now a process for everything. Okay? Everything is a process. So you want to come to America, the number one thing you should be submitted to is the same process that me or you or the people who are here have to deal with. It's a process. If you want to blow up America, we should be able to weed you out, just like when you go to get a driver's license, right? You're blind, right? Ted, I went to get my CDL last week, okay? And CDL, everybody should know, but it's the license to drive a truck. I had to take a 1-week class to get a certificate to drive a truck, and then I had to take the written test to drive a truck. And one of the things that I had to do was put my forehead on and take a vision test. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. So when immigrants come, there shouldn't be anything wrong with having a basic test to say, I am not coming to America to destroy America. You see what I'm saying? Now, politicians should be able to flesh that out, but it's not about America. It's about Donald Trump marketing himself to one section of America. It's about Obama marketing himself to another. There's real world answers in between both of them. And you would agree with me about that. If we start filtering them out, what kind of country are we? Well, we filter everything out. If I can't pass that eye test, I don't get a CDL. Everything in America is a process. Now, does that process suck? Well, you could turn around and sue and say, well, I'm blind, I should be allowed to drive a truck. Right? Let the people in ISIS sue. We should be able to come to America and bomb them. And when Obama says the border should be open so anybody can come, okay, well, that's fine, but that's not how you run America.
Yeah.
You know, Putin can turn around and say, I want a driver's license in America. Well, Putin, you got to study the DMV exam. No, I just want a driver's license. Everything in America is a process. Now, that in itself is one.
Well, it's funny because a lot of the same people who argue about basically no restrictions on immigration are the same people who want all kinds of restrictions on guns.
Right. And that's the whole thing. Last time I checked, they're like, we shouldn't be allowed to have guns. That's the Second Amendment. And me and you have talked about this over and over. Me and you are free speech guys, right? As soon as they take away Amendment number 2, they turn around and come for Amendment number 1. Because that's how the world works. Oh, well, we'll just take a few of your guns. And then we'll take a few more. You know, when they make these processes, as soon as you make the processes, you get some knuckleheads who want to add more steps, and then the only advantage is for the rich. You see what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, you got to tear it down again. So you say Donald Trump wants a Muslim ban, right? Okay, we banned Muslims for 10 years. Okay, well, why should we not ban Muslims for 10 years? Let's sit down, hash it out, come through in the middle. You have to take, if you're a Muslim, you have to take American class oath, and you can come in after 5 years. You see what I'm saying? And if you're a Iraqi Christian and you're getting persecuted, Ted, what I'm trying to say is there's answers for everything. But nobody wants to take the time. Everybody wants the table slanted their way. Just like Hillary. I just want to win. I just want to win. We'll slant the table my way. I win, and off we go. Well, it works for Hillary, but it doesn't work for everybody else. But when you want to keep intact America, America has its rights to make its own rules. And that's why I don't disagree with some of the stuff that Donald Trump says. My whole thing is, and I think I said it in Beacon of Speech number 1, is I don't like Donald Trump, and I never have. So just take out the words Donald Trump. Say everything Donald Trump stands for, but say Mark Cuban. Okay? Mark Cuban thinks this. Well, I would be much more open to what Donald Trump has to say. You see what I'm saying?
So you just don't like Donald Trump, like even before?
Because I know he wrecked the USFL. I know Ted, he closed a casino. A casino is free money. You know what a moron you have to be to close a casino? There's casinos in the middle of South Dakota where there's literally 50 Indians, and those casinos make money. He closed a casino in New Jersey because it didn't make money. That's what an idiot he is. He was the star of a reality TV show. I hate reality TV. You see what I'm saying? Like, before he ran for president, I like to think that I was a close personal friend to Oprah. I hated Oprah. Ted's looking for ducks. Where did the ducks go? Oh, there they are. They're over here in the corner.
Yeah.
So, but you could turn around and Ted, let's say that me and you want to immigrate. Me and you want to immigrate to Turkey. Are they just going to meet us at the Turkish border and let us become Turkish citizens?
I hope not.
I assume that there's a process. If I wanted to go to Iraq and become an Iraqi citizen, I assume there's a process. If I wanted to go to Russia, I assume that Vladimir Putin is personally stamping everybody coming to Russia. Did I tell you that Russia is actually looking for citizens?
No.
Yes. I thought I told you, but I know I told my wife.
I assume that they're one of those countries that they're not reproducing.
They are, but again, it's the who's volunteering for the crappy jobs. You open a brand new... Ted, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to spoil my idea, okay? If I ever made a ton of money doing this, I want to do a documentary film, okay? I want to make up a brand new company. I'm going to let you name it. What's the name of my brand new company?
What's the name of your brand new company?
Yeah, I'm going to let you name it. We're a team. What's the brand?
Do you already have a name in mind? And
no. I'm asking you out of the blue. I'm gonna create a brand new corporation. You don't know what I'm gonna do.
I have no idea. I
think of a good name while I keep talking. And what I want to do is
this is Fred's company.
This will be Fred and Ted's company.
Okay, and what do we do?
We don't do anything. This is why I want the movie to be, okay? And you can tell me whether I'm a jerk or whether the premise would work or not. This is why I want my documentary to be. I want to rent some land in downtown Cleveland. I want to rent the 20th floor on East 9th. I want to make up a company logo that looks sharp as hell. I want glass windows, a hot receptionist, right? I want Apple computers on every desk. But you don't know what we do, right? And then I want to open it up, and I want to say, I'm hiring a CEO, and I'm going to pay you $1 million a year. I'm put it online, and then I'm gonna hire a vice president, right? And then I'm gonna hire some managers, right? And then I'm gonna hire some employees, and I'm also.
So far, it sounds like almost every company that there is.
Oh yeah, but that's where I'm going. And then I'm going to hire some janitors, and then I'm going to hire some part-time people, for weekends, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to advertise and not tell anybody what the job description is. I'm just going to be like, you need to have a bachelor's degree. I'm looking for somebody who's willing to work hard. All the cliches.
Yeah, team player.
Right? And then I'm going to see what kind of applications I get for CEO, and then I want my whole movie to be interviewing these people for jobs that don't exist, and I want to hear people BS because there's nothing real.
Yeah.
There is no, hey, I want to, and have you thought of a good name of a company yet?
No, not yet.
Well, you keep thinking. Okay, Ted, you want to be CEO of my pretend company. And of course we can't use pretend company, okay?
How about like Utopian International or something?
Oh, Utopian International. There we go. Utopian International. International. And I'm sorry to give away my thing, but I don't ever think I'm going to have enough money to do my movie, okay?
So you want people to sit there, you want to interview people who are applying for the job.
Right.
And they have no idea what the job is. They
Right.
just know it's
Let's put it this way.
CEO, but they don't know what the company does or anything.
Yep, I'm the movie maker. Okay,
And you want them to tell you why they would be the right person for
Right.
that job, even though they don't know what the job is.
Yeah, let me give you the example. Okay, I would sit in a room and it would be a big desk, right? And I would do the interview and I would have Evian water, on the table, and I'd be like, "What brings you to Utopian International?" I've read about you and I've followed Utopian International for years, right? I'd be like, so why would you be a good CEO for Utopian International? Well, I'm a hard worker and I did this and I did that. Well, tell me about Utopian International in your world vision, how it would fit in your world vision. And then my movie would be me interviewing the people, like the CEOs of people who want to be my CEO, all the way down to the janitor. Why do you want to clean for Utopian International? Well, you know what, sir, to be honest with you, I need the job. I'm a single mom with 2 kids, and I'll work hard for you. You know what I mean? I bet you we would get more honest answers from the single mom who's interviewing for the janitor job, who's like, I'm willing to work hard, than the CEO who's going to bullshit me for a half an hour. You see what I'm saying? Now, maybe that's not true. Maybe I'll learn something that the rich are truly rich because they worked harder than everybody else.
I just wonder if you would end up getting some of the people we know, like interviewing for the CEO.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, and that's my whole point. And I would do it. And I would do it with the camera sitting next to me. So you got to imagine, you're looking at me, okay, Ted? Sitting next to me as a tripod. I would tell the people interviewing, well, I'm the representative of Utopian International. My name is Fred Hunt. I'm filming this because the board is going to want to review all applicants. And this will be watched later. So that's true. But I'd be twisting the truth like a politician, right? And then I would edit it down, right? And I guarantee you that the CEOs would be blown. There's a certain type of person who's a CEO, and we would get that type of person, and you would call them on their bullshit. And then you know what would happen? They would probably sue us for twisting their words around. Because that's how America works.
Utopian International.
I'm telling you right now, Ted, I played Powerball. Okay, and I play lottery, right? You know that I have pie in the dry. When I said I want to make some movies, I don't think I could ever legally do the Utopian International movie, right? Because there is no script. You know what I mean? The script is we spend.
Now, even though I don't think I've ever seen any of his movies. I'm thinking, is this like something Michael Moore would do?
Michael Moore is more of a stand on the sidewalk guy. And then when they come out of the building, is it true that you voted for that bill that's going to kill 1 million babies a year? And then he would set up an interview in their office. You know what I mean? Michael Moore was not about spending a lot of money on a set. You know what I mean? My whole thing is I would spend it on a set, and like I said, there is no script, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I will interview 20 CEOs and they'll all be salt of the earth people. I'll be like, wow, they're the greatest people in the world. I want to start a company and have this guy lead it. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think I'm going to get a bunch of Ray Mercs in there. Okay? And I don't care if I slander that guy. That guy could suck an egg. Okay? But once you it makes me wonder how people would sell themselves when they're trying to sell nothing. You know, the Seinfeld theory, the show about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where do you work? What's, you know, somebody's actually smart enough to say, well, what does Utopian International do? Right? I'll be like, well, we're a subdivision of Vandalay Industries. Right? And that's what we'll tell them. And if they don't pick up on it, I'll know that, you know, we really got a sucker here. You know what I mean?
It's subdivision.
Yeah. You never heard of Vandalay Industries? They're a multinational conglomerate based out of New York City.
Yeah, you don't answer any question. You just muddy the water even more.
Yeah, you just keep muddying the water. And like I said, we can have some fun, Ted. I'll dress up in a $1,000 suit. You can dress up in a $1,000 suit. But we're, no offense, Ted, okay? But I'm ugly, you're ugly, okay? We are not the beautiful people. We're not the Kardashians. We're not even Qandeel Baloch, okay? We have to hire a hot girl as a receptionist. So like all of our, and we have to have a good-looking guy too, okay? We don't want to discriminate. You know, we got the Nancy Pelosi's of the world who'll be distracted by the young pool boy, right? And so we got to distract them on the way in too. But I guarantee you that we get a slew of CEO applications. And again, we only need one CEO. Say we get 100 applications. We need 10 janitors at minimum wage. How many applications do you think we'll get? And we'll make it really nasty, too. We'll be like, you have to work off hours, and often there's hazardous waste involved with Utopian International. And, you know, we'll make it where it's not a job that's, you know, it's a job that has to be done in America, but a job that people are not beating the door down to get. You know, I'm a single mom. Am I going to have to wear a spacesuit? Are my 2 kids, are my eggs still going to be good? You know, you shouldn't be asking these questions if you're making minimum wage. Now, people could say that we're slanting things, you know, but like I said, maybe. So you named it Utopian International, okay? So again, if I win the Powerball tonight, we're going to have to erase this part.
That name is like as vague as your whole, you know.
But the whole premise, yeah. Everything is vague. I want to see what people have to sell me.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all the gibberish you get in corporate America today.
Subdivision of Vandalay Industries.
So we're at the 120 mark. So we do not have a song of the day. It will not be a song by Third Eye Blind. Again, for the record, Third Eye Blind sucks. Ted, do you have any input on Third Eye Blind?
No.
Okay. Do you want to pick song of the day? I'm writing it down right now because I'm writing it down on the thing.
Song of the day.
And then once we get off mic, I have a magazine. We haven't done a magazine like in the last 3 Beacon of Speeches. It's Wired Magazine. You have to tell me if we did it on air or not. If we haven't done it on air, we'll do it on Beacon of Speech 32. I bought like 5 magazines. I read them, and then I forgot whether we used them on air or not. So,
do you want to make any predictions? Is there anything that...
Let's make a prediction. What time? 1:25. Democratic National Convention. I do want to make a prediction. National Convention. I'll make one prediction.
You know, I think a long time ago we made a prediction about the Republican convention, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it's still 1 or 2 weeks off. I think I had the dates wrong. Democratic National Convention. You know what? While I'll go look real fast. But Democratic National Convention, my prediction, more arrests than the RNC by week's end. By week's end. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off my headset. I'm going to run down and see if we have any predictions in the envelope, because it's in the basement. You tell me, do you have any predictions for the National Convention of the Democrats?
I agree with your prediction that there will be more arrests than the Republican convention. I'm trying to think. I think in general it will be a lot more disorderly than the Republican convention.
All right, we got our predictions. Sorry, I had to run downstairs. Ted, you were right. I thought I had it for the 27th, but I had it for the 21st. Okay. Now, your prediction for Democratic National Convention is more arrests, same as me, and more unruliness.
Yes.
You think there's going to be more riots by the end of the week?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
And you are not buying that Hillary is the great uniter?
No.
No, I am not either. And like I said, the more that comes out about this Debbie Wasserman Schultz thing, the more I understand how people can vote for Trump. I really do. And like I said, the thing is that I've just paid attention to Trump for too long. You know what I mean? He's just a maniac. Okay, here's the predictions. RNC convention. Okay, we made this on March 17th. I have it in my... I'm glad you remembered this. Okay? I'm glad you remembered.
What does that say?
July 24th. On the inside, I thought it said the 27th, but it said 21st. So, on March 17th, we did a show on St. Patrick's Day. That means Joe wasn't there because he was celebrating St. Patrick's Day. We'll just leave it at that. Okay? Republican National Convention is July 21st. Oh, that reminds me. Let me interrupt myself. Miss Cleo died today.
Oh, really?
Yes, she died of cancer.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So, and I saw a bunch of jokes online, like, I bet you she didn't see that coming, right? But, it's the same joke, and, well, she was only 53. I was stunned. I thought she was older than that. I thought she was 53 when they made those commercials.
Yeah.
And that was like 10 years ago.
God, Yeah, I would have assumed... Once again, I don't know a lot about her, but I would have assumed she was older than that.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. So the reason I bring that up is on our predictions from March 17th, it says, okay,
Miss
it did
Cleo
not predict...
will die?
What?
Did we say Miss Cleo will die?
No, it did not say Miss Cleo will die, and it did not say Fred will be fired. So I missed that one too. Fred will be fired by then. Okay, what happened? John Kasich just won Ohio. What's going on March 17th? Kasich won. Kasich thought that was going to vault him to the lead, right? But Trump, and again, I'm reading what I wrote down on March 17th, Trump up over Cruz so far. Me and you made the prediction. What will happen in Cleveland on March 17th? Fred Hunt said that Trump would win, but not by, or he would win the nomination, but he would not get 1237. What does Fred hope for? Fred hopes for chaos, which we did not get. So Fred was wrong on both predictions. He said that Trump would lead, but Trump would not get 1237. So I was right about Trump leading, but he did get to 1237. What do I hope? I hope for chaos. We did not get that. Okay, I also said that Romney would try and jump in and try and secure the nomination. That did not happen. So Fred was 90% wrong. I don't think I've ever been so wrong on a prediction since we've done this. Like literally the opposite one. Not one, but literally the opposite happened. Ted Coley, he said Trump would win. And you would hope there would not be riots. And you were correct. You said there would probably be a few arrests, but no riots. And then I put in, you thought there might be a ruckus. I don't even know if there was a ruckus, Ted. So you were right. You said it would be Trump, but you predicted the Electoral College vote.
Yeah, 1150, didn't you?
You predicted 1150, and it ended up being 1400 or whatever. Yeah. So, but you were much closer because not only was I hoping for riots, I predicted riots. So I was wrong. Now, I don't run the city of Cleveland, okay? So, you got to be ready for anything. So, again, the city of Cleveland did a good job to prevent the riots where they could. So, but I was wrong. I was wrong. The only thing I got right is Trump held on. You know what I mean? Nobody else gained ground. But even in March, I'm like, well, it's too late. You know what I mean? By the time Kasich won Ohio, it was too late for everybody, except for except for Cruz and Trump.
I just remember how happy Kasich was when he won.
That still makes me mad because he's happy, and I'm like, dude, you got a lot of work to do.
You didn't win anything.
Yeah, you won your home state. Literally.
I mean, he was acting like he won the nomination.
Yeah. Basically, he won third. When he did that, he basically won third. It's like you're at the Olympics and you get the bronze medal and you're crying, you're falling down. Oh, this is the best day of my life. And the guy, who won gold is next to you. And he won, by like 3 seconds. Not 1/100th of a second, but like by 3 seconds. And he's just looking at you like, dude, you were never in this race. So I'm glad you remembered that, Ted. So you are 100% right. I'm not 100% right. You were 90% right. I was 90% wrong. Because you didn't get the exact delegates. So.
Yeah.
All right. Song of the day. Did you pick a song of the day?
No, I didn't.
Think of something good, Ted. What have you been listening to lately? You hear anything good on the radio?
No. Well, I definitely don't want to pick Taking Care of Business.
Yeah, do not take, because that was the article that I wrote last week. And do not pick anything by Third Eye Blind. I would prefer that you don't pick anything by Nickelback.
I don't know. Why don't you pick something?
Oh. Okay, I pick Fight Like a Brave by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Fight Like a what?
Fight Like a Brave by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The article I wrote on the Beacon of Speech blog this week is all about why I hate the band Rings of Saturn, which we went through ad nauseum last week. I don't want to talk about anymore. But one of the 5 albums I've been listening to is a lot lately is Red Hot Chili Peppers' Uplift Mofo Party Plan. And Fight Like a Brave, I believe, was the lead single off of that. And I love Fight Like a Brave. That's one of the best songs the Chili Peppers ever did.